You know that feeling when your alarm goes off at 6 in the morning? You drag yourself out of bed, grab a coffee that you don't even taste anymore, and you're already running late before the day has even started? You work hard. You put in the hours. You answer emails on weekends. You say yes to extra projects. You skip lunch breaks. And yet, when you look at your bank account at the end of the month, something doesn't add up. The numbers don't reflect the exhaustion you feel in your bones. You're doing everything right, or at least everything you were told was right, but you're still one unexpected expense away from stress. If that hits a little too close to home, stay with me, because today, we are going to unpack a lie that millions of hardworking people believe without ever questioning it. The lie is this: being busy means you're building wealth, and by the time you finish watching this, you will understand exactly why your effort isn't translating into financial freedom and what you can actually do to fix it. Let me start with a story that might sound familiar. I knew a man named David. David was an architect, a good one. He worked at a respected firm, put in 50 to 60 hours a week, and his salary was decent. On paper, he was doing fine. But David had a problem. Every time his income went up, his expenses mysteriously rose to match it. A bigger paycheck meant a slightly nicer car lease. A bonus meant a family vacation that got put on a credit card anyway. He was constantly busy, constantly earning, but his net worth stayed flat for 15 years. David is not lazy. David is not stupid. David made the same mistake that traps so many of us after the age of 35. He confused movement with progress. He thought that because he was tired at the end of the day, he must be getting ahead. But exhaustion is not a receipt for wealth. It's just a sign that you traded your time for money and then spent the money before it could ever go to work for you. Most people don't realize this, but there is a fundamental difference between earning a living and building a life. The first one keeps you on a treadmill. The second one lets you eventually step off. And the trap gets tighter as you get older. When you're in your 20s, you have time to recover from mistakes. When you're in your 40s, the stakes are much higher. You have a mortgage or rent that never stops. You have children or aging parents who depend on you. You have a lifestyle that you've grown accustomed to, and so you keep running faster, hoping that this year will be different. But speed doesn't matter if you're running in the wrong direction. Let me give you a practical example of how this plays out in real life. Think about the last time you got a raise. Maybe it was 5%, maybe 10%. Did your savings rate increase by that same percentage? Or did your spending simply expand to absorb the new income? For most people, it's the second one. You upgrade a few subscriptions. You eat out a bit more. You tell yourself you deserve it because you work so hard. And you do deserve nice things. But what you deserve even more is a future where you're not forced to work until you're 70. The mistake here is treating every pay rise as a reward to be spent immediately. The solution is simpler than you think, but harder to practice. The next time your income increases, take half of that increase and divert it into an investment account before you ever see it. Automate it. Make it invisible. You can still enjoy the other half, but you cannot let your lifestyle inflation steal every extra dollar. Now let's talk about another scenario that keeps people busy and broke. The side hustle that becomes a second full-time job. You see it everywhere. A man comes home from his 9 to 5, eats dinner quickly, and then opens his laptop to drive for a delivery app or sell items online until midnight. He's exhausted all the time. His health starts to suffer. He misses time with his family. And the money he makes from the side hustle just gets absorbed into monthly bills because he never had a specific plan for it. Let me be honest with you. Working 16 hours a day is not a wealth strategy. It's a survival strategy. And survival strategies only work for a short time before the burnout hits. The mistake is not the side hustle itself. The mistake is not giving that extra income a clear job description. Money without purpose disappears. The solution is to name every dollar that comes in from your extra work. Give it a mission. This $500 pays off a specific credit card. This $200 buys a share of an index fund. When you give money a job, it stops wandering off and starts building something. There's a harsh reality that nobody wants to tell you in polite conversation. Your time is not infinite. And after 35, you start to feel that. in a very real way. You lose a parent and realize how short life is. You notice your own energy isn't what it used to be. And yet, so many people continue to trade their most precious, non-renewable resource, their hours, for money that they then spend on things that don't matter. The wealthiest people I know don't just value money. They value time with a fierce intensity. They understand that busyness is often just a way to avoid the uncomfortable truth that you're not in control of your finances. It feels productive to be overwhelmed. It feels responsible to have a full calendar. But true financial progress happens in the quiet moments. It happens when you sit down on a Sunday morning, review your accounts, and make conscious choices about where your money needs to go. It happens when you say no to extra work because the cost to your health and relationships is too high. It happens when you finally accept that you cannot outwork poor financial habits. So here's what I want you to do. Today, not next week, not next month, I want you to run a simple audit on your life. Take your monthly income and subtract the money you absolutely need to survive. Housing, basic food, utilities, transportation. Now look at what's left. Ask yourself honestly, where is it going? Are you paying for convenience because you're too tired to cook? Are you making impulse purchases late at night to feel a small moment of joy after a hard day? There's no shame in the answers, but there is a cost. Once you see the pattern, you can change it. The second step is to protect your future self. Open a separate savings account if you haven't already, and name it My Time Freedom Fund. That name matters. Every time you transfer money into it, you're not just saving, you're buying back your own future hours. You're paying for the ability to one day work because you want to, not because you have to. I know this isn't the flashy advice you see everywhere online. There are no secret investment tricks here, no get-rich-quick schemes. Just the truth that your busy schedule is not a badge of honor if it's not taking you anywhere. You deserve more than a life spent running on a wheel. You deserve to have your effort actually compound into something meaningful. If any part of this hit home for you today, let me know in the comments. Tell me what you're working toward, or share the one thing you're going to change this week. It helps more than you know to hear other people's stories. And if you want more honest conversations like this one, hit subscribe and turn on the bell. Let's keep building something real together. I'll see you in the next one. And let me share something else with you, because this is where the real shift happens. There comes a moment in every person's life when they have to make a choice. Not a dramatic movie scene kind of choice, something much quieter. It's the choice between continuing to be a human doing or finally becoming a human being. I've watched too many people reach their 50s and 60s, only to look back and wonder where the decades went. They worked through their children's childhood. They postponed every vacation. They told themselves that someday, when things settle down, they would finally relax. But things never settle down on their own. The busyness doesn't politely excuse itself from your life. You have to fire it. You have to look at your calendar and your bank statement with the same seriousness and say, no more. I am done trading my irreplaceable hours for things that don't serve me. Here is a truth that most financial advice completely misses. The goal of building wealth is not to have a giant pile of money. The goal is to own your time. Money is simply the tool that buys you the freedom to wake up and decide how you want to spend your day. That's it. When you reframe wealth as time sovereignty instead of just a number, your decisions start to change. You stop caring about impressing people you don't even like. You stop buying things that depreciate the moment you walk out of the store. You start asking yourself a single question before every purchase. How many hours of my life did this cost me? That dinner out wasn't $80. It was 2 hours of work. That new phone wasn't $1,000. It was an entire week of your life that you will never get back. I'm not saying never enjoy your money. I'm saying be conscious of what you're exchanging for it. Let me give you one final example. Think about two men, both 45 years old. The first man earns a high salary, drives a luxury car, wears expensive watches, and lives in a beautiful house. But he is drowning in debt. He cannot sleep at night because he fears losing his job. His entire identity is built on an income stream that could vanish tomorrow. The second man earns less, much less in fact. He lives in a modest home, drives a 10-year-old car, and his clothes are unremarkable. But he owns his time. He has enough invested to cover his basic needs. He works because he chooses to, not because he has to. When his child has a school event, he's there. When his body tells him to rest, he rests. Which of these two men is actually wealthy? The answer is obvious when you strip away the noise. But society keeps training us to admire the first man and ignore the second. Don't fall for it. Now, I want to speak directly to the person watching this who feels trapped. Maybe you're thinking, this all sounds good, but you don't understand my situation. I have debts. I have obligations. I have people depending on me. I see you, and I'm not asking you to flip your life upside down overnight. What I am asking you to do is take one small, meaningful step this week. Call it your quiet rebellion against the busy broke cycle. Maybe it's canceling a subscription you haven't used in months and redirecting that $12 into an investment account. Maybe it's having an honest conversation with your partner about the financial stress you've been carrying alone. Maybe it's simply going to bed an hour earlier instead of scrolling on your phone so that you have the energy to think clearly about your future. The size of the step doesn't matter. The direction does. Because here is what I know for certain. The version of you 5 years from now is going to exist either way. Time will pass regardless. The only question is whether that future version of you will look back with gratitude or with regret. Will they thank you for the sacrifices you made to build a foundation? Or will they shake their head at the years spent spinning your wheels? Every single day you get another chance to answer that question. Not with grand gestures, but with tiny, consistent choices that nobody else will notice. You don't need applause. You need progress. And progress is quiet. It doesn't post on social media. It just shows up day after day and does the work. So I want to leave you with a personal challenge, a real one. For the next 30 days, I want you to track one thing only. Not calories, not steps, not productivity. Track the gap between your effort and your outcome. At the end of each day, ask yourself, did my actions today actually move me closer to financial freedom, or did I just stay busy? Write down the answer in a notebook, or just say it out loud to yourself. After 30 days, look at the pattern. I promise you, what you discover will be more valuable than any budgeting app or investment course. It will be the truth about your own habits, staring you right in the face. If you found something useful here today, if this conversation made you pause and think even for a moment, let me know in the comments below. Share one change you're going to make. Or tell me about a time when you realized being busy wasn't making you wealthy. I read every comment, and honestly, your stories fuel this channel more than you know. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. This isn't about vanity numbers. It's about building a community of people who want to stop running and start living. Thank you for spending part of your day with me. Now, go take your time back. I'll see you soon.